Welcome back. Pride Month is a celebration of inclusion, a sense of belonging, and the fight queer people have fought to get here. But for decades, they have not been allowed to belong in all spaces. Churches have done a lot to keep LGBTQ+ people out. This is a story about a Denver church doing more to welcome these people in. Here is Denver 7 producer Stephen McNellis.
4 walls can let people in, make them feel secure and included.
And it's a huge first step.
But it's a step not included within the walls of every church. Ashley Hope knows from experience.
I had just come from working in ministry and actually been let go of that position because of my choice to marry my wife.
The pain of being let go led Ashley and her wife to a place where they'd be let in.
We've been members of Denver Community Church for about 2.5 years.
Here at Denver Community Church, also known as DCC, Ashley is in a leadership role serving as program coordinator for the congregation's community outreach. The opportunity to serve while living authentically as a member of the LGBTQIA+ community is one she wasn't sure she'd ever find.
I'm not unaware any moment I'm here of the pain it took to get here. The closed doors, both literally and metaphorically, that it took to get to this place, but I think seeing is just a first step. I think the knowing element is what is coming next.
DCC is trying to do both.
So we say, as the elder team of Denver Community Church, to our LGBT brothers and sisters,
we officially encourage you, invite you, and support you.
Church leadership released that video in 2017.
Writing about these kind of people.
Lead pastor Michael Hidalgo says it came after he and other elders held ongoing conversations for almost 2 years prior.
We invited in friends from the LGBTQ community and said, we have no agenda other than asking you to spend 2 hours with us. Tell us your story. Actually, you can come and tell us whatever you want. And we're going to listen. We're not going to challenge you. We'll ask clarifying questions and we'll seek to understand.
And the more they understood, Michael says, the more they sought forgiveness.
We learned by listening that we weren't a healing presence for the LGBTQ community. We were actually a wounding presence.
According to a study published in 2018 by the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, religious faith was tied to an increased risk of suicidal thoughts and actions for survey participants who identified as LGBTQIA.
It's presented that you can't be both gay and a Christian, that you can't be both trans and a Christian. It was said so many times in so many ways, you can't be both. And the reality is you absolutely can. And that's only such a small piece of the brilliant human that you are.
We have done wrong, and we need to recognize that, we need to confess that, and we need to make a move toward opening our doors more widely, recognizing that God has long embraced this community before we did.
So each Sunday, yes, you'll find members of the LGBTQIA+ community in the congregation, including Ashley and her wife. But for DCC, it goes beyond that. Michael and Ashley say their church and others still have wounds to heal.
Now we're seeing through stories and through a set of eyes and hearing through a set of ears that we never heard from before.
Right, the LGBTQIA community is one community that's been pushed to the margins, but there are plenty more where that came from.
So DCC has an LGBTQIA+ community that meets weekly. And the congregation volunteers at Pride events in the metro area.
I was working down there, volunteering down there, and I saw a mom and a dad with their arms around their son, who was probably no older than 13, and he had a rainbow flag shirt on, and on their shirts it said, I love my son. And I thought about, what has that family gone through? And to have families like that come to Denver Community Church and say, we got kicked out, but we're going to trust you. It's overwhelming.
Many would call it inclusion, but Ashley says they're restoring what should have never been taken in the first place.
I think inclusion's too small of a word. I think we have to start with belonging. And we don't, we think we're being told we exist to belong, when in reality, because of our existence, we do belong. We are loved. We are seen. We are known.
Denver Community Church knows that some of their Christian counterparts won't agree. In fact, some even left the congregation. Instead, they're focusing on who has joined.
I took a long time to speak up publicly based out of my own cowardice. Concern that people would leave, that I might lose income, that I would lose opportunities. And in seeking forgiveness and apologizing to the LGBTQ community, to not only have my LGBTQ siblings show up here, but extend grace and forgiveness and mercy to me, has been an incredibly humbling reality.
And Ashley's grateful that her reality includes helping others rediscover faith while also remaining proud of who they are and who they love.
I think pride really does, for me, it gets at that. It gets at that, and it says, show up however you can, as whoever you are, and we'll celebrate that. And that's what I hope DCC is saying too. And I've experienced that.
Denver Community Church is letting people in letting them know they belong.
I think we just need a deeper dive and a rephrasing of what that belonging is and the fact that we all have it.
With photojournalist Sean Toll, I'm Stephen McNellis, Denver 7.
Denver Community Church is always welcoming in new members. You can stop by any Sunday to join a sermon. Denver 7 is once again a proud sponsor of this year's virtual Pride Parade. You can watch Saturday, June 26th at 10:35 p.m. over on Channel 7 or Sunday, June 27th at 12:30 right here on Local 3. Our Molly Hendrickson and Lisa Hidalgo will host alongside the Center on Colfax.